Hi there YouTube, it's Mark here. Today I'm going to do a response video to Sid's latest thread. I thought the questions and they were pretty cool, so I'll do my best to answer what I can. First off, what album gives you goosebumps? I would say more, the word would be chills rather than goosebumps, but for me, I really can't think of a particular album, but there are some songs that I have on various albums that kind of leave you cold after you listen to them, and yeah, they give you the chills. So I'll name off three songs that, three different albums that would qualify for that. First off, Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. Kind of a depressing album to begin with, in that, you know, it is about Armageddon, the end of the world. But the song that really hits home is one called Two Suns in the Sunset, which is right at the end of the album. And that song, there's a line in there that says, what's happening is there's a nuclear blast headed his way, and he's driving his car, and the line kind of goes, as my windshield melts, my tears evaporate, leaving only charcoal to defend. And that line alone just really gives you the creeps, because it is a kind of a scary thing. It's something nobody wants to think about, and it just left me cold. But it's one of the most creepy songs I've ever heard. So that's one. Another one that kind of gives me the chills is off Billy Joel's album, The Nylon Curtain. The song Goodnight Saigon, which is Billy Joel's take on the Vietnam War. It's a great song, and it's so well recorded. The vocal, background vocals, the whole vocal arrangements are just amazing when they're singing "And We Will All Go Down Together." It's just, you know, it leaves you with the chills. It's got the helicopters. It's like a miniature movie, only you're listening to it. Like, for example, Apocalypse Now or something like that. Kind of along the same idea. It's a really great song. Very well done, like I said. Again, that one kind of gives me goosebumps or the chills. Probably the song that that I own that really is probably the creepiest thing, and it's the shortest song. In fact, that's kind of what the song is called. It's called The Shortest Story. And it's off the Harry Chapin Greatest Stories Live album. And the song really is out of place on this record, because this record is a very lively album, and it's the tone is not at all like just this one song is. It's called The Shortest Story, which is about an infant child who has been left to starve to death, and it's really, really creepy, scary. The whole premise of the thing is just completely, you know, leaves you just terrified, really, of how something like that could happen. Where he got the idea to write that song, I have no idea, but if you want to give it a listen, then, you know, punch it up on the web there and listen to it. It only goes for about a minute and a half or something like that. It's a very short song. Again, probably the most creepiest thing I've heard on any record. So that's question one. Question two. What's my current obsession? Well, the shirt I got here might be a clue, give you a clue to some of you. You might kind of recognize what's going on in this shirt. If you look here, you have a Wrangler with a pair of zircon encrusted tweezers. He has a little horse. I believe his name is Tiny Little, and they are plucking the dental floss from the dental floss bush. Anybody have any ideas? Well, if you're a Zappa fan, I'm sure you'd recognize that right away. It's the song Montana from his Overnight Sensation album, which is just a crazy song. But I just love the lyrics. The lyrics are very humorous. It's a great album to listen to all the way around. So yes, Zappa is my current obsession. It seems like every record I get in the mail these days, almost every record is a Zappa album, which gives me the opportunity to show my 4 latest Zappa LPs. So that's that. First one, it's what you're hearing in the background right now. It's Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. When I first saw that, I believe it was on long lost LP Man's channel. He acquired this copy somewhere at a very good price, I believe, and as soon as I saw it, I said, I gotta get this one. It's a 3-record set of Zappa playing guitar, and it's all instrumental. It's a very good recording, actually, all the way around, and it really showcases Zappa's talents as a guitar player. Great album. Another one I recently received in the mail was Studio 10. Lots of great instrumental stuff on here. There's one side here called Gregory Peccary. The whole album is one song, and it's the adventures of this little pig, or I think it's a pig anyway, by the name of Gregory Peccary, as he goes through life. Very humorous again, and great instrumentation. One of Zappa's last albums is Jazz from Hell, another instrumental album. Haven't really gave this a listen all the way through yet, but plan to very soon. I think I heard the first few songs inside one, was pretty impressed with that. Very cool album. And then my newest Zappa album is this one here, Zappa, Them or Us. 2-record set. Got this one in the mail just a couple days ago, and I've listened to most of it now. Again, it's got more very humorous lyrics, great instrumentation. It's again, I just can't get enough of Zappa right now. There's kind of a cool picture of him in the back with the green oven mitt on. So I'm still looking for more Zappa albums. I'm finding that his albums are becoming very collectible, because even though I'm kind of a mainstream guy, Zappa was never really a mainstream type artist, so his albums aren't very accessible for the most part, so price-wise you can pay a good dollar for them. So I'm always looking for a deal on Zappa albums. So anyway, that's my obsession at the moment. Next question. Name an album that or the album in your collection that you're most proud of. Well, it's really hard to narrow that down again. I picked 3 albums out that I'm really glad I have in my collection, and it wouldn't be a collection without these albums, so I'll show you what I have in respect to that. First one. Very difficult to find a mint copy of Pink Floyd The Wall. This wasn't sealed when I bought it, but it was extremely mint, and still is. Still got the sticker on there. Most of these copies you find on the web have a lot of ring wear on the cover. This cover has no marks on it whatsoever. It's in perfect shape. Gatefold album, as most of you will know. And the inner sleeves are in perfect shape. There's no warp, no creases or bends or anything in them at all. They're perfect. This is also a Japanese pressing. You know, and the Japanese pressings are noted for very good sound quality, and this album lives up to its name, or lives up to that fact as well. It sounds awesome. So that one is probably the album that, when I first started recollecting records again, was on my list as being the #1 album to get, and I did manage to find this at a very good price, so extremely happy to have this in my collection. Another album I'm proud of, again, it's another Pink Floyd album, and Mr. Hall of Fame has made a couple comments on my videos because he saw this in the background. It's the Division Bell, and this album here received a lot of positive and a lot of negative reviews. I've listened to it many times now, and I think it's just an awesome album all the way through. Not a common album at all to get on vinyl. It's very common on CD and that sort of thing, but not on vinyl. I managed to get this one. I ordered it. I believe it was from the UK. I got it. It's a gatefold album as well. And another little added bonus is that this album is on blue vinyl. Mint condition. One of my top albums in my collection for sure. Pink Floyd, Division Bell. And lastly, the third album I picked for most albums I'm proud of, or the album I'm most proud of, is one that Spellerine had received in the mail a few weeks ago. Bob Dylan, the Whitmark Demos. It's an awesome album set. you know, he was very excited about it when he received it, and I understand why. It showcases Bob Dylan's earlier works. All this stuff on this album was all demos, never recorded like commercially. Some of the sound quality is not good on some takes, on some of the tracks. Other tracks just sound phenomenal, like they just as good as anything that he's released. It comes with a gorgeous booklet with all kinds of photos and stuff, and the vinyl that it's pressed on is extremely high-grade audiophile vinyl. It's just a beautiful box set. So this is one of my albums I'm most proud of as well. Next question. If I were to recommend an album, actually I missed a question in here. I missed one question, was what are some of my best finds at thrift stores and garage sales, that sort of thing. I'm really not going to answer that in this video because I've already kind of done that in one of my past videos on my 10-cent finds at a thrift store. That was really probably the biggest day as far for me is for finding records that are bargain basement prices. So the next question was, what album would I recommend that you may not have heard before? If you're into kind of rockabilly punk, really lively, energetic music that has some talent to it, then this album here, Teenage Head, Frantic City. Teenage Head were a Canadian, people call them the Canada's answer to the Ramones. Although they weren't like the Ramones, really the Ramones really weren't rockabilly. They were more of a true punk style, where Teenage Head has a real good beat, like a rockabilly beat to a lot of their tunes, and there's some great stuff on this record. If you're in the party mood and you want some great party music, well, this album is it right here. The title, Frantic City, from my understanding, it came from the episode of the Flintstones. If you remember the parrot that was squawking on Fred, going Frantic City, Frantic City. That's where they got the name from for this album. So Teenage Head, great album. Last question was, what kind of advice would you give to somebody, say, new collecting records? Well, most of my album purchases, because I'm not really close to record stores, are online purchases, mainly from eBay. Done a lot of shopping on eBay the last few years. Can get expensive, but if I was to give some advice, anybody who is going to start buying online, make sure you understand record grading. There's a thing called the Gold Mine record grading standard, which is has good, very good plus, very good plus plus, mint minus, mint plus. They all mean something. When you see a record that's graded good, that doesn't mean it's good. Really, if it's graded good, it's probably no good at all. If you're serious about record collecting, you need to be looking for records that have a grade of at least very good plus to mint. Grading can be very subjective as well. People who sell records have their own idea sometimes as to what's mint and what's not mint. They don't all follow the Gold Mine standard to a T, and that's where it's important to look at sellers' feedbacks. I always look for people who have 100% feedback, or sellers, because if they don't, then I want to know why before I go and purchase their album. So I'll look at some of the negative feedbacks that were left, and for example, if they're kind of consistent with the negative feedbacks as to, well, the record grade was not what was advertised, then I will stay away from that seller altogether. Reputable sellers will understand the record grading system, and you'll find that they have very little negative feedback. They are mainly positive, mostly 100% positive. So that's something to really look for as well. If you're going to buy online too, keep in mind that shipping charges do add up, and sometimes you're paying more for shipping than you are for the album. Look for reasonable shipping charges as well. I get a lot of my records from the States, and shipping charges can be anywhere from $5 to $12 an album. It really only costs about $6 to send from the States to here at the very most. So, you know, if you're buying from Canada, for example, you know, watch out for outrageous shipping charges, because sometimes some sellers do make their money on shipping, where most sellers, I would say most sellers, make their money on the item, and you know, whatever you pay for shipping is close to what they actually have to pay at the post office. So anyway, that's my little bit of advice for anybody who wants to get into record collecting or who's just starting out. Hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.